Friday morning, it's the Rich Lieberman Media Pulse. We are live on YouTube. If you're watching now, congrats on being here. I'm the only person who covers San Francisco Bay Area media. And if you're watching at a later time, also glad you are along. I want to talk today about a kiss ass, double kiss ass, if you will, interview, in air quotes, interview that took place on the joke of a radio station, the alleged all sports, even though they're not, KNBR, Friday morning, part of the Murph and Dorcas show. They interviewed Dave Stewart. Dave Stewart used to be a all-star pitcher with the Oakland A's, grew up in Oakland, and now does pre and post game commentary for NBC Sports Bay Area. So they're talking this morning, Friday. Dave Stewart and Brian Murphy, part of the Kiss Ass Morning Smurf and Dorcas show on the AM FM station Sports KNBR. And this is the last weekend, in all likelihood, that the Giants, San Francisco Giants, will play the Oakland A's. So they're doing all these little interviews and vignettes with regards to A's and Giants. If you're a sports person, great. If you're not, you don't really have to be. This is more about what is, I can only claim and say emphatically, bullshit. Two con artists, Dave Stewart and Brian Murphy, a lifelong Giants fan, which is fine, trying to make it look as if he's so poignant and caring about Oakland A's history. And, the Oakland A's are on their way to Sacramento temporarily, and then they're going to go to Vegas in all likelihood in 4 years, 2028. Boy, I can hardly wait. So you have these two kiss asses on. Why do I say kiss ass? Because Brian Murphy, again, is a complete phony, a fake. He's a shill, a very successful shill. I'll give him that. Who is Giants, and Giants. That's fine. He gets paid by the Giants. He has Giants season tickets, that some of which was given to him by the Giants. And it's a perfect symmetry for KNBR because they have a Giants fan on in the morning, on doing the morning show. And he claims that he's kind of this Oakland guy. Bullshit. He lived in Oakland for a few years. Then he moved over to that bastion of tranquility and love of diversity, Mill Valley, California. Anyway, so he's kissing ass with Dave Stewart, another hypocrite, a Dave Stewart, who grew up and was born in Oakland, pitched for Oakland A's. As part of a group, Dave Stewart happens to be a black African-American man who has a lot, or at least had a lot of influence with Major League Baseball. If Stewart had used his influence, his juice, no pun intended, with Major League Baseball, and part of a group that had the wherewithal financially to buy the A's, one of several groups, and keep them here in Oakland while they build another stadium, perhaps in Jack London Square. But Stewart didn't do anything. He just lamented publicly, even though he'd been paid by the A's, of course, and paid by NBC, as he said so Friday morning. Dave Stewart had the wherewithal to get cohesion and much needed influence toward the eventual purchase of the A's. But guess what? Dave Stewart was more concerned about his own situation. He didn't want to screw with Major League Baseball, which has foisted this crap onto us. He didn't talk about that on his, quote, interview on KNBR Friday morning. He ignored the fact that baseball, Rob Manfred, the commissioner, and all the owners who voted 30-0 to allow the A's to move out of Oakland, the number 4 market, into the number 65th market or something like that, 49th at the very least. Stewart didn't mention anything of that. He didn't talk about the fact that it was baseball that worked behind the scenes, taking advantage of the fact that they don't have to live by the antitrust laws. He didn't mention that. He kisses ass, does Dave Stewart. And I'm sensitive to. I haven't talked a lot because it's not a media item about the Oakland A's and the out and out thievery by Major League Baseball to work behind the scenes. Oakland never had a chance, even though they did secure over $400 million from a private equity firm that was willing to invest, build the stadium in Jack London Square, and keep the A's in Oakland and keep them in the Bay Area market. Stewart knows this, doesn't mention it. And guess what? And here is the biggest thing, the biggest outrage. Dave Stewart, African American. What minorityship is lacking in Major League Baseball? Hasn't been in baseball for years now. African American players. And here's the gall, the chutzpah of Major League Baseball to pull out of a city that has a sizable amount of Black African American population and move it to, of all places, Las Vegas. Yeah, folks, they worked behind the scenes. They did so because they knew they had the exemption from antitrust laws. This was an out and out criminal act by one of the most criminal sports organizations, if not the most criminal sports organizations, Major League Baseball. Stewart knew it, knows it. Did he say anything about that? No. He hasn't said anything publicly about it because he wants to protect his own rear end, which is fine. But be transparent. Stu, we're on to you. I'm on to you. And those who weren't on to you will be on to you now. And worse, to have this so-called interview and talk, all this grandstanding, all this bullshit about you loving the A's and all this and that when you could have done something, Stu, and you did nothing. You wanted to protect your ass with your relationship with the A's and with Major League Baseball. You did nothing. It's all bullshit. And your idiot Brian Murphy and Brody Brazil, of all people too, from NBC, say nothing. You're frauds. You're all frauds. And I wish that you'd be called out by the Chronicle, another fraud media entity in the Bay Area. But of course, the Chronicle and Hearst have their own interests at heart. This is a travesty. And Friday morning's alleged interview did no help. It further carries the fact that Dave Stewart, you talk a lot, but you say nothing in reality. And Brian Murphy, give me a break. You're a fraud. You're a moron. All your shilling and all that, you should be exposed for the asshole that you are. Murph, Smurf, and Dorcas. Nobody will say that because they're all worried about protecting their interests. I am not beholden to such, and I can say with authority what's on my mind and not have to worry about the consequences because I'm here for me and most importantly for the people that need to know the truth and need to understand why these hypocrites should be called out. I just did that. I called them out.